What would be your response if I would simply say, hey, friend, my name is Stan, and I'd like to invite you and welcome you into a very strange new world? What would be your immediate response? Well, I can imagine the immediate response is, what are you talking about? But what about that very phrase and what it might mean to you? A strange new world. And does it sound a bit scary? Is it something you'd like to explore more? Or are you like most people? We just kind of prefer things to be kind of the way they are, a little more comfortable and a little bit better. But certainly not a strange new world. Well, with your permission, on this Tuesday evening, as we flow into the 2020 year ahead of us, we are in the ramp to the new year, and perhaps there could be in that new year a lot of strange new worlds. And how do we, as entrepreneurs, as Christian entrepreneurs, as perhaps change masters, how do we handle the strange new worlds that might be upon us? Just a few minutes on this Tuesday evening to talk about that. The program begins right now.
Space, the final frontier. These are the voyages of the starship Enterprise. Its 5-year mission: to explore strange new worlds, to seek out new life and new civilizations, to boldly go where no man has gone before.
For some of you, that was ancient history. For some of you, you remember that history. Of course, that was the theme from the 1960s television series called Star Trek. And there we go. The Starship Enterprise. That was the name of the starship. Enterprise. A business. A entrepreneurial project. And their job was to boldly go into strange new worlds where no one had ever gone before. Think about that. Would you have raised your hand and said, hey, I'd like to be on the Starship Enterprise? Well, most of us would like things to be a little bit more comfortable in our life. There's a whole series of work that has been done to demonstrate that our very being, the very DNA inside of us, the very chemicals that make our body homeostasis, that, we just don't want things to change. We would prefer that they would stay the way they are. And whenever we try and make changes in our life, even for the good sometimes, there's kind of old patterns that want to pull us back to what is new and what is comfortable. And so, to make a change, whether it's, moving across town, moving across country, changing schools, losing weight, doing something that would be new and strange, we just rather not do that. And it takes a real act of courage and strength and wisdom to be able to move into strange new worlds. Here's the deal. I've been challenged recently by a gentleman who recommended that I look into the few words of a very famous, long-past theologian. If you know anything about theology, the man of Karl Barth, you've heard about that. Very controversial in many ways, very challenging in many ways, and of course to many people who are adherents of him, very comforting and very wise and very careful. But he made a statement that I think is probably true, according to my friend. He said, Karl Barth said that when we decide to become Christians, we are inviting ourselves, we are following Jesus, and he will lead us into strange new worlds. He will lead us into strange new worlds. And I'm sure that a lot of us said, I thought he just said, follow me. That's right. He said, follow me. And off we go. And perhaps he will lead us into strange new worlds. Do you remember, if you're really you don't have to be too old, about 20 years ago, at the turn of the century, everybody was concerned that Y2020, when we actually turned the clock from the year 1999 to the year 2000, that all kinds of things, from computers to the environment to the way we lived, everything would change, and it could be catastrophic. Well, those of us who went through it remember it. Those of you who might be considerably younger may not fully understand it, but it was quite an anxiety-producing thing. Oh, well, the world might end, and there were people who literally prepared for the end of the world at Y2020. Well, of course, Y2020 came, and basically nothing changed. Nothing happened. The year began at the midnight stroke, and it kind of quietly went on, and the electricity stayed on, and the clocks didn't explode, and the world didn't come to an end. It just kind of carried on. And off we went. Now, I think that perhaps, and I don't want to mean the same thing, that actually Y2020 might be just that kind of a year where there are some significant things that change. And I'm just going to suggest a few that you might think about and how you prepare for them. First of all, those of us in the United States of America, right now we are in the middle of an attempt by some people to impeach President Donald Trump. Now, no matter what you feel about that, and obviously the feelings are very, very strong and very divided, so that means whatever happens in Y2020, it will cause a good deal of anxiety and confusion, and people will say, oh my goodness, what happened? Or, oh my goodness, it didn't happen. Whatever. And so those people who have such incredible emotional involvement in this, whatever the result, they are emotionally and maybe spiritually and maybe physically going to enter a strange new world. How will they handle that? Something else I know is true. Nothing happens until somebody sells something. That's true. That means somebody has to be in the business of persuading somebody else to do something that is a change. It may be, give me some of your change and I'll give you this, or give me your change and I'll change this. Well, I'm going to suggest that everything you as an entrepreneur have learned about selling might be wrong. That the sales method and means that have been around for many, many years, most of that training will be obsolete, and you will have to learn how to sell very differently. And one of the strange new worlds I'm going to introduce you to, just to give you a heads up, I'm going to ask you this question. Was Jesus a salesman? Was he? Some of you, that just even grates your being to hear the word Jesus and salesman put together. But may I just suggest that I may introduce you to a strange new world where you could actually not only learn about the man who leads us into God's creative power and understanding, and that certainly could be a strange new world, might actually lead us into a strange new world about how we, as He taught us to do, serve, sell, and save. And all selling that will be good will follow the Jesus model of serve, sell, and save. Let that sit on your head for a while. Radio and television will radically change. I have just recently put together a program, since I was involved in Christian radio, and it's a major industry for many, many people and for many, many years. And I simply asked the question, could Christian radio become the next blockbuster? And again, some of you know what I'm talking about. The video, cassette, CD rental industry that was dominated by Blockbuster. It's gone. The thousands and thousands of music stores and record stores that were all around the malls of America, most of them are gone. Quite a change in that industry. And so I'm going to say, when those of us who are involved in radio and video and media, could it be that you will enter into a strange new world, and what are you going to do? Please think about that. 10 minutes gone. Just a few more minutes to go. And what I'd like to do is challenge you to indeed enter into a strange new world. And it will be strange and it will be new, but it will be good for you. Let me tell you a little bit about that. I'll be back. Hi, once again, this is Stan Houston, and you are listening to what we hope will be, here's something you better know. Every day you better take 20 to 30 minutes to learn something new. Every day. That's right. If you want to make it in the changing, strange new world of the coming days, you have to learn. Recently, Harvard Business Review said, the best strategy to make sure you are not replaced by a robot or by artificial intelligence is keep learning. Keep learning. Learn something new all the time. And what we try and do is, what we do here is at least give you something new to think about. Keep learning. Here's my challenge to you. Obviously, I've made it clear. This is something new. This is called a podcast. I call it an iPod radio broadcast. That means just exactly that, an individual, personal, on-demand radio broadcast. And what it means now is that you and your company and your church and your organization, you can have your own radio station and you can put on your own radio programs, and they can go around the world, and the cost is negligible. Here's what I'm going to tell you. If you decide to follow us as we help you into the world of speaking and teaching and sharing things you know and things you've learned and experiences and stories that can encourage and help and instruct and perhaps inspire us, if you enter that strange new world, and if you keep doing it, it will be good for you. I'm just challenging everybody now. Give it a try. Start to learn. If you truly, whatever you are, I guarantee you, whatever you are and whatever you do, you have something of value, some wisdom, some insight, some truth, some entertainment, something that makes people smile, something that actually makes their life just a little bit better. You have that deep inside of you, and that's a God-given thing. And now God has said, I'm going to make it possible for you to share that with many others. So enter into the strange new world of online, over-the-top radio, and begin to do what we do, and that is you be on the radio. Some of you are going to say, but Stan, I wouldn't be very good. Don't worry about that. Don't worry about that, and I'll tell you why. And we're back just to finish up. Hey, don't worry about that, because let me tell you this. You won't be very good. That's how you start. But you will get good, and you might even get great. You start with you doing one thing, perhaps poorly. But you know what? The one person will listen to it, and that will be you. And you will learn, and a few more people will listen to it, and they will learn, and greater things will happen. I'm going to encourage you now, as you're thinking about what 2020 is all about, to reach out to me at radioedge77@gmail.com, radioedge77@gmail.com. Pastors, teachers, professionals of all kind. If you want to make your mark in the marketplace, you're going to have to do these three things. You're going to have to be a teacher and demonstrate your wisdom and insight. You're going to have to be a broadcaster so that people can reach out and find out more about you. And you're going to have to be a person that has within you some deep spiritual and personal power. You're going to have some spiritual force deep within you. And for many of you, that's going to be a strange new world, but it will be a good world. So I'm inviting you. Reach out to me. We're going to help you in your business, in your career, in your life, and in your ability to be a radio broadcaster with your own station, your own program, and your own way of connecting, as I do, with thousands of people all over the world. It's a good thing. It can even be a God thing. Let us encourage you and teach you how that might be true. Once again, my name is Stan Houston. I hope this has been helpful to you, and I would be grateful if you could be helpful to me. tcenglobal.org/contribute now. tcenglobal.org/contribute now. We at the network are going into some strange new worlds, and your help and some of your sponsorship, perhaps even just say, here's a little donation. Here's a thank you, Stan. We would be grateful. tcenglobal.org/contribute now. That would be very, very much appreciated. We're all going to be in some strange new worlds, but remember, Jesus said, I'll be with you. I'll be with you. Don't be afraid. And of course, that is the call to all of us from the God who loves us. Don't be afraid. Remember that as we approach 2020. Don't be afraid. All the best and blessings, and bye for now.